screen time was up, engagement was up, and people were like...
I mean, that was our world,
Mm.
right? Because we were so isolated from human interaction, we went online and we connected online. And like you said, screen time doubled, quadrupled even.
Yeah.
From, watching every Netflix show that you could to... checking in with one another via Instagram or watching TikTok relentlessly, or doing FaceTime calls or whatever it was. And then, of course, if we were working from home, we were predominantly on our computers. And so, of course, you're doing meetings and then also emails. But then whilst you're doing that, you're on your phone as well. And and you've got a TV in the background. And it was just like there was so much information being taken on. And this can probably be another podcast episode, but everyone then came out of that space. And I don't mean everyone, but a large majority of people were like, I have ADHD. And that's a whole other conversation.
Yeah, that's definitely been popping up more.
Yeah, it's I've seen like a billion ADHD TikTok videos, and I can't even tell you how many clients come into therapy saying, hey, can we talk about ADHD? I think I have ADHD. When I've been seeing them for 3 or 4 years, for example. And I'm like, let's talk about the changes that have happened over the last 2 years or 18 months. How much change has happened in your day-to-day life?
Yeah.
Where, we were dopamine fiends during COVID because there was not much happening. Yeah. And so that's a whole other thing. But I think that touching on screen time and the social media era during the pandemic, even dating went online too. It's always been online, but
even
like that blew up as well because I can't go anywhere.
Yeah, I remember people trying to find loopholes to Tinder because it was like, because you know how like there was a point in time where you could
that bubble.
Yeah, you could see one person. Yeah,
the singles bubble.
Yeah. So like you could, I don't know, maybe go and stay the night with someone, but you couldn't do it again with someone else that week.
You had to choose one single bubble buddy, basically. Yeah.
Okay. Choose the right one.
Yeah. But yeah, there was. I think you did the right thing by, I guess, capitalizing on the fact that everyone just spent 24 hours on their phones. Yeah.
So do you think that was like people are actually, say, developing disorders like ADHD, or do you think it's just people's time, attention span shrinking? Because I definitely feel different, I think.
Sure.
Like, I've kind of always been similar, like, and my wife said it to me many times, I need to have more space for my brain, because if I'm doing a monotonous task, I'd rather do that and listen to an audiobook or listen to a podcast.
Habit stacking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm going to learn something and do this. But then also, I think I don't have enough time to get to the bottom of my ideas, because I'm just getting...
I'm bombarded with so much information,
So then you become just like a parrot as opposed to this original person that develops ideas. But that's one thing that I've kind of always had, but I've found it more so like I'm driving, I have to listen to this. If I'm
You've got to have your brain stimulated all the time.
Yeah, and if I'm just doing a task.
Yeah.
And I think humans are unitask people anyway, like monotask, like we can only do one thing at a time. But if I'm just, kind of, I guess that's a different debate.
Yeah.
But we're only like, if we're doing something, that should be enough. Like you should be engaged, but I'm like,
no,
I need music. Or I need a podcast, put on Joe Rogan while I'm doing emails or something. And I'm like, man, even because all that ADHD stuff's been coming up, I'm like, do I need to get a test?
I mean,
but I think I just
look. There are so many variables to getting a diagnosis, and I won't go into that in depth, but I definitely think that our attention spans have been hit. When you consume such large amounts of content or stimuli at
short form content too.
Yeah, at a really rapid rate. And, everyone that is on Instagram or TikTok knows that when you refresh your feed, there's this like ever so slight pause before your feed, regenerates. And that is the same concept as poker machines. And so that's a whole other conversation that we can have.
Suspense before
correct,
it hits. Like,
correct. Yeah. And so the back end, the people who curated these social media platforms really took from the psychology around gambling, which social media is an addiction also, which is a whole other conversation.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we were just getting dopamine hits. And like I said, we became dopamine fiends. Boring tasks.
Yeah.
Super boring now.
Yeah.
Right? They're like, I'll get on an email and start writing, and halfway through I'm like, should I go? I think I feel like a banana.
Yeah.
And I'll go into the kitchen and get a banana and come back, and I'm halfway through an email and I'm like, okay, cool, I've finished this email. And then I'm like, I should check my phone.
Yeah.
Like I have seen as well, because I went online during COVID and I had to shift into telehealth, I was on my computer every single day. Whereas prior to that, I actually never really did online consultations. I was 5 days a week in clinic, face to face.
Yeah.
I'd have phone calls here and there, but when I transitioned to telehealth, I found that literally I was sitting in front of a computer every single day. Like my screen time was huge.
Yeah.
And then obviously I'm on TikTok and I'm on Instagram and I'm doing all those other things as well. So yeah, I found that my attention span was hit too.
So what do you think are best practices that people can use to try and navigate that?
Yeah, let's really put in some strategies, I guess, to chunk our time. I know that lots of people use the Pomodoro method, where you, let's say, use 20 minutes and put a timer on and do 20 minutes of work. And then when the timer goes off, stand up and give yourself 5 minutes to do something that you enjoy, or 10 minutes. Go and walk outside, sit in the sun, go on your phone, read a book, whatever it is. And then when that alarm goes off, go back to the task that you were doing, and kind of repeat that cycle. And so you have smaller increments of time where you are super concentrated, and then know that you get a break and then come back. So it's rejigging, I guess, your attention and being like, I don't have to be so fixated on this thing for 2 hours. If I have 50 emails to do, that's a really overwhelming task. And you'll find that a lot of people are procrastinating those things because it is so boring and I'm not getting any stimulation from it. So I'm like, cool. Like something that should take me half an hour is taking me 3 hours.
Yeah.
That's really helpful. Habit stacking, like you were saying, doing emails, but also listening to a podcast in the background is not a bad idea. So habit stacking is doing something you need to do with something you want to do. And so it gives you that joy of being like, I get to listen to Joe Rogan's new podcast episode, but I also need to fill out this intake form for one of my clients.
Yeah.
And so, I think that I did a lot of habit stacking during COVID as well. Like I need to go for a walk, and I want to go for a walk as well because I want to be outside and I want to get sunlight exposure. But I also need to be doing my emails. So I would pair those tasks as well.
Yeah, I used to do that too.
Yeah.
Like I'd wake up in the morning, go for a walk, but then I don't know. I was always in this bit of a war with it because I was like, I'm going for a walk to be out of nature by the beach. You know, like,
I shouldn't be on my phone.
Yeah, and here's me like this.
Yeah.
I'm like editing a video that I'm going to post later on. I'm like, did you even take in the nature, or are you just like? But like, I'm like,
or making the best out of a bad situation. I guess
I'm still like, it's better than sitting on my couch
doing it. Yeah, inside.
Yeah,
I think again that's adaptation. You know, if the circumstances were different and I was able to go and come as I please, then going for a walk and being consciously aware of your surroundings is really beneficial. And you know, not being on your phone, that's great. The circumstances were that the only time that you got outside was when you were going for a walk, but you also had all of this work to do, and you were like, how can I pair the two to my benefit? You know, so again, adaptation. Like it's not one size fits all. And I think that especially on social media, because there's so much content, and we're about to, I guess, discuss anxiety and depression and the prevalence of that on social media, is that, you know, if one person presents this way, doesn't mean that you have to present the same way, but you may be experiencing similar things. And so, people turn to social media and go, if I have anxiety, what should that look like? And then I'm taking on all of this information. I'm like, oh, I don't know how much that fits, or, oh my God, yes, you know, this person who has ADHD on TikTok, I am exactly that person. I too have ADHD. It's not that clear cut.
So what other things do you think people can use to navigate it? I guess one specific one I would have is like around comments and like people, or no, maybe messaging, or like sending maybe nasty messages or things like that. Like, I get that a lot, but obviously I guess we're different in terms of like we actually have platforms where we're exposing ourselves to or exposing others to our ideas and opening ourselves up as potential targets if people disagree.
Yes.
But I do know that other people get, if you just use Instagram casually,
Yep.
you can still get forms of hate or like, messages that you don't want to have.
Yep.
How do you think people can navigate through that?
I think as well, during COVID and after, there was a lot of culling of things that just were not serving you. Like I said, and we said, we spent so much time on our phones. So we were being impacted by the things that we were seeing and the people that we were following and the ideas that people were presenting to us online. And so a really helpful task for anyone that's on social media is start filtering the things that you are looking at, because the information that you take on, you think that it's, 10 seconds or 3 minutes at this point on TikTok, that it's just a quick snippet of this information, but it's really absorbed, and your ideas then start to formulate around that information, and then your behavior is impacted, and so on and so forth. Your mood is changed, and so it's not just we're taking on information. So be really selective with the things that you take on. Whether it's
that you follow.
Yeah, people that you follow, content that you consume, conversations that you have, videos that you watch. Like, you need to be, I think, super selective, because you are a sponge, essentially. And whether it's online or in conversation with people in real life, the friends that you have, the places that you work, like, everything is impacting us. And so be conscious, be present that, I have to be really taking on things that are of benefit to me and not hindering me or making me feel worse about myself or making me compare myself. I know that as well, especially now, everyone's in Europe, it seems.
Yeah, seriously, yeah. I'm just in Italy.
Yeah.
Or the whole out of office reply email.
Yeah, which I'm about to turn online.
Nice.
Everyone's, what feels like everyone is in Europe, and I know that not everyone is, and people are at work on their computers and commuting and etc. So I think that if that feels overwhelming to you, if you feel like you're comparing yourself, mute it. It's okay. It's okay for you to not be okay viewing content. I don't think that you should feel bad about that.
Yeah. No, 100%. Yeah. I'm a savage unfollower.
Gone.
And like people are like, you can just mute, but I'm like, but I don't know.
I just don't want them there at all.
I'm just like, but I don't get anything from them. Like, so even if I am aware of this person, like I remember I was a personal trainer in the Gym Fitness First, Market Street. I was there, and there were some personal trainers there, and like I was following, just like following everyone, because we were like that. And then I was just like, man, like maybe they weren't even posting, or maybe it was just stuff that I just like
didn't align with.
I just didn't, or maybe I just didn't like it. Like, and I just like, I remember I unfollowed someone, and then they were like, hit me up. They're like, oh, you unfollowed me. And I was like, man, first of all, I was like, how did you know? Like, are you looking through your, who's following you like that closely? But I don't know, like maybe it's rude, and I like I get that, but I'm just like, I don't want to see booty content. I'm not trying to grow my booty. I don't struggle with the struggles that your avatar that you're trying to market to has. Like I
don't think that's
I couldn't
rude.
care about the size of my booty, so I was just like, I still like you as a person. Like I was like, we're still talking, we're still hanging out. Yeah, it's just that I don't follow you on this app. Is that really that bad?
I think that people have really tethered themselves to their online presence, right? So they're
following
like,
count.
Yeah, I mean, like, I am who I am on social media. So if you unfollow me, you don't like me as a human. And I think that that's not right. Like,
I agree.
Yeah, it's not rude for you to unfollow someone. And I think the concept, and I've been speaking about this a lot, whether it's online or with my clients, about the concept of should. And that's riddled in obligation and expectation. We are parametered by, you should follow every single person that you know. Why should I? Like, I think that when we don't do the things that we should, we feel guilt.
Yeah.
And we feel bad for doing that. And again, this is such an important concept as well, because we are just kind of blindly following what we should be doing when we're not actually checking in with, what do I want to be doing? What do I choose to do? And that's different for every single person. We all should move our bodies, but how should we? That's up to you. what capacity do you have? What time do you have? You know, what abilities do you have? That it's the intention of movement, but how is up to you.